Good morning to all. I'm Brinda from English department. My topic is Theory of Personality, Gordon Allport. Gordon Allport, he was an American psychologist and he created the Gordon Allport personality theory, and he was one of the founders of personality psychology, and he was the first psychologist to analyze personality traits. Now let me move to the Allport's definition of personality. Personality is a dynamic organization of psychophysical systems within an individual that determines the person's uniqueness adjustment to the environment. And then trait theory. Allport theory is primarily a trait theory of personality. Traits are defined as relatively stable and enduring patterns of behavior, thoughts, feelings that and distinguish one individual from another. He believed that traits could be used to predict and explain behavior across different situations. And then Allport believed that each individual has a different unique set of traits, and that this determine how individuals react to certain events in the environment. Then in 1936, Gordon Allport found that the one English language dictionary alone, there is other 4,000 words describing different personality traits, and then he compiled the list of all words used to describe personality. Then he took out synonyms, and then he was then left with about 4,500 words. Then Gordon Allport organized these three words into three groups. First one is cardinal traits, second one is central traits, and third one is secondary traits. Three types of traits are here: cardinal, central, secondary. Then cardinal traits. Cardinal traits, it is dominant, can be used to define a person. The person becomes known specifically for these traits, and most people do not have this cardinal traits, as a few people only. For example, Mother Teresa is strongly associated with goodness and kindness. Then likewise, the person becomes known specifically for this traits. As I said, hatred may have been a cardinal trait of Hitler. Then central traits. Central traits it is a basic foundation of personality, in the building blocks of our personality, and it influences our behavior in many situations. For example, independent, trustworthy, competitive, sensitive, and fearful. These usually number from 5 to 10 in any one person. Example, honesty, sociability. Then while not as dominating as cardinal traits are the major characteristics you might use to describe another person. Improve self-confidence, example shyness, honesty, it is also comes under it. Then secondary traits. Secondary traits, they are often seen in certain situations only. Example, some people are getting really anxious in queues, and then highly assertive people displaying submissive personalities when vulnerable, and the general fear a lot of people face while speaking in public. This also comes under it. And secondary traits are like preferences which one can change depending on where we are and what we are doing or thinking about doing. And examples liking a style of clothing, disliking a kind of food, and road raging. Then functional autonomy. Allport introduced the concept of functional autonomy to explain how some behaviors become detached from their original motive, and he argued that certain behaviors persist even when the original motives or drives behind them are no longer present. And for example, someone who initially learned to play the piano for parental approval may continue to play purely for the enjoyment of music and independent of external motivations. Then proprium means self. Allport proposed the concept of the proprium, which refers to the core of personality and where individual sense of self resides. It includes aspects such as self-awareness, self-esteem, and self-image, self-identify. Then functions of the proprium. There are 7 functions. One is sense of body, self-identity, self-esteem, self-extension, self-image, rational coping, and appropriate striving. Then motivation. He also discussed about the motivation. According to Allport, motive is a conscious and contemporary and changing in nature. Therefore, motives undergo a change of functions. And then functional autonomy of motives. Allport emphasizes that motives can change and become independent of their original source This means that an individual may engage in certain activities not because they fulfill a basic need, but because they have become personally meaningful or rewarding. That's all. Thank